So I mentioned I started reading the book in the year 2000. I basically sat on the information for 15 years. If somebody had shown me the way, I would have started earlier. So people always say, "Oh, hey, when is the best time to invest?" It's always yesterday. Then the second best time is now. If
Exactly.
somebody is able to show me the way or being where I am right now, showing other people the way, I'm sure people will reach their financial freedom goals a lot earlier.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm your host, Micah Johnson, and today I am joined by Brooke, who's been making some serious waves in the real estate investment education space. Brooke, welcome in. Glad to have you.
Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I think our listeners are really going to take something away from one, how you've approached real estate in general. In our pre-recording talk, there's some points you brought out that I just loved. I'm excited to dive in on them. So for folks who may not know you yet, what's your main focus right now and what markets do you operate in?
So my main focus right now is long-term hold. I started with rent to own. We call it lease option, and single family homes to start. Then smaller multis like 2 units, 3 units. That's where I got started. Um, but the main point I want to make is it depends on what your financial goal is. When I was starting, I do want to start to accumulate cash flow. Now I want to accumulate more wealth and long-term hold and creating generational wealth as well.
Gotcha. Okay. So let's take a step back then. What led you to real estate? When did you get into the industry? And what's your journey been like so far?
I got started about 10 years ago. However, I've been thinking about this forever since I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad in the year 2000.
Okay.
However, life just got in the way. I stayed at home with my kids for 10 years. I read the book, thought about it. There's no clear way as to how to do it when you read the book. So when the opportunity came where I could learn about it as real estate investor, I'm like, okay, this is the time. I was already 40 at the time. So I decided to jump in. At that point, I wouldn't say I was an investor. We had our primary residence and we have quite a lot of equity because in Toronto, by the way. I'm in a market where we're lucky. You think, hey, if I just do this, property price will go up. So we had a condo, then we moved to a small house and we rented out our condo. So I wouldn't say I was an investor then. I just happened to have a condo and was a landlord at the time.
Hey, I count it. That's technically investing. Come on now, give yourself a little credit here. All right, so you picked up a single family house for y'all to live in. You're renting out your condo. And one thing I love that you pointed out is when you got started, is it wasn't, you hear a lot of folks getting right into it or however they're going, but you took it on at 40 and said, this is what I want to do now. I love that.
Yeah, another thing is I started to get back to work as well. And I think a lot of folks with dual income can relate. Then you start to pay more tax. Then you're thinking, okay, financially, this doesn't seem to be the way. And my kids were getting into more activities, more expenses. Of course, we didn't have as much time. You're driving your kids around for activities and different things. So that's when I started to think, hey, there must be a better way. And like I said, because we had the condo and the property price went up. So I thought, okay, there is something I could do and get started. So I just needed to learn more about it.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
And how big has education made an impact on your journey here? Because you read the book in 2000, which was that, it's often referred to as the Bible in real estate investing, one of the most common ones you hear that someone read that led them to it. But you're right in the fact that it doesn't really lay out a roadmap to do it. And that's where I see, honestly, a lot of folks read the book and then just dive in, and they kind of skip that education part and go to the school of hard knocks. What did that do for you by making sure you learned first?
I think a lot of the times people, like you said, you read the book and you're thinking, how do I do this? Education give you the confidence and somebody is showing you a way. Most importantly, I was involved with investors that are actually doing it. Because even though I had a property that I rented out, I didn't think I could expand from there. That's it. That really didn't do much unless I expand or really see the cash flow from real estate investing.
What was the first education that you went and did, and what doors did that open?
It was an institution that's related to Rich Dad Poor Dad at the time. That's 10 years ago. They're no longer in Canada. So I thought I was gonna meet the author, Robert Kiyosaki, because that was how it was advertised. But the whole idea was they follow the process, the idea. I think Robert authorized, but he wasn't the educator. And there's so many different asset classes. That one specifically was related to real estate. And that's where I wanted to get started.
After that class, what happened next? What doors did it open for you?
I think just letting me see how it could be done. So there's a lot of hand holding because I'm an introvert. And by 40, I was like, okay, we saved for a very long time. It didn't accumulate too much. So in the States, it's 401k. In Canada, it's RSP. If you want to reduce your tax every year as an income earner, you want to contribute. And we didn't even have much saving left to contribute. So I thought, okay, this is tight. And we're actually making decent income. It
Okay.
didn't make sense when you're heavily taxed. So there's so many different things. And I learned about, even in the first 3 days, we learned about different taxes, corporate structures for people who are investors or even self-employed. So that's where I saw, okay, the door is open. And,
Sure.
actually that is money. And I started to just borrow money and invest. It was very uncomfortable, to be honest. I always paid off our debts. We don't have credit card debt. We had a mortgage. That was about it.
You're right there. A lot of folks aren't used to the risk involved, and it is uncomfortable up front where you're borrowing all this money, you're hoping this is gonna work out, right? Like, there's always a chance for things not to go the way you want. So, what was it that helped you just get over that hump to say, "Okay, I'm gonna do this"?
I think the biggest thing is not about how much it costs you, it's about how much it makes you. So even if the credit card interest rate introductory 8% or so, if you can make 12% or 15%, whatever it is, then go for it. Why not? And how, at least at that point, I knew how hard it is to save up. And if I can leverage, I can see, at least I see a path, picture my future, how I could accelerate my wealth. Like you mentioned, a lot of people started with single family home. And that was because I still had the fear of going big. And I thought, okay, single family homes. And I started with rent to own. Somebody's going to take care of it. I was afraid of fixing toilets or getting a call in the middle of the night. So I thought, okay, I think this is the strategy I could learn. And I have one rental properties I can start and get comfortable with starting that way. However, throughout my journey, now I know that, hey, I don't have to start. I didn't have to start small, but I can see why a lot of people do. And by the way, you're in the States. The opportunity in the States is very different. I've invested in the States as well. There are a lot of single family homes that are still cash flowing. In bigger cities, not likely. So you got to get creative. Fix and flip, finding values, buy under market value or rent to own, or service accommodation, making an Airbnb. So you got to get creative.
What would you recommend to someone who's listening on they're experiencing that, right? They either need a strategy shift, what either got into, what they did getting in doesn't seem to be working, or they're sitting there on the sidelines thinking, I don't even know which one to start with. What are some questions or a mindset that they could have to lead them down that path?
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Always start with what you're looking for. If you're buying a property just waiting, then you're praying. So a true investor, think about what you want to achieve as your goal. So for example, at the point I wanted to have cash flow. So I mentioned single family homes sometimes doesn't cash flow. So that might not work. Then you have to think about, okay, if cash flow is my goal, what are the strategies? I mentioned a few strategies already, Airbnb, or you can structure a rent to own. Rent to own cash flow is really good. And then you look into the market. If it doesn't work in that market, you have to get out of your backyard. Property is always last.
Gotcha. What was that helped? A lot of folks get a little nervous about leaving their backyard. What
Mhm.
is what helped you get over that? So if you're in Canada, you've said you invested in the States, probably multiple places in Canada at this point. What was it that helped you? Because you went from I'm nervous to do this small deal to now I'm investing in multiple countries, basically. What was it that propelled you there and helped you overcome that?
So education is the biggest thing. You've seen people doing it. And if you don't expand, if you get stuck, you realize, hey, this doesn't work. So if you really don't have to see every property for people getting started. I don't mind flying into a market that my strategy would work to understand how it works. You don't have to do that once you expand. No matter what market you're getting into, it's the same strategy. I know the tax laws or different states, it's all going to be different. However, the process is the same. The strategy has to work in that market. You get into that market, meet the property manager, meet the mortgage broker, whoever you need to meet to form your power team. Once you understand how to structure a power team, do the same thing in all the different markets you're getting into. Especially now, people are so used to Zoom. I think it's a blessing in disguise. I hate to not see people not able to network in person. The good thing is people are used to this platform. We could
Yep.
be anywhere. Yeah.
I agree. I think it was one of the blessings that came from COVID is this actually counts as hanging out, right? Like
Exactly.
it feels like you got to see people where that didn't used to be the case. And it really made remote business way simpler. You can do things all over the place now that we couldn't do before. Actually, a previous guest I was talking to, due to what happened and us accepting this, you can do online notaries now. You can
Yes.
truly be remote. Like there's real ways now to not have to be one place all the time. And I think that's especially for real estate investors because it's freedom that typically is what led us here to get into the industry and to be able to decide what we want to do and when we want to do it. Because that's what's driving us, whether that's to work all day, awesome. At least you're deciding to. Nobody's forcing you to. Right? Whatever you're using it to do, it's it lines up again with, what you said a second ago, which is what you're trying to do. What's that ultimate goal that you're trying to do? And then identifying where it works at. Now, in our pre-talk, you were talking about that you do some teaching now. Education has become a huge part of just your whole world. So dive into that a little bit. What is it that you teach and what are you trying to show people in the industry?
So thank you for pointing that out. Very similar to what you're doing here. I do want to show people the way. I mean, all of us on the team, we're financially free. So why would we be doing this? Because I was in the same position 10 years ago. I thought, okay, if somebody's willing to show me the way, I'm willing to invest my time, my resources to do this. That's the main reason I'm doing it. Another thing is, I know a lot of people have kids. They always talk about legacy. Besides your kids, that you're doing it as an example, because you can't preach. The kids won't listen to you. Let's be honest. But they see what you do. So the same thing. I think, okay, if I can show my kids how it's done, I'm usually not teaching them exactly what to do, even though my older kid is starting to invest. I can expand the same platform and reach out to more people if I start to educate future investors. It's actually really rewarding to see people actually have results.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Tell you what, that's something I've noticed around successful real estate investors is their willingness to share what they did and the amount of abundance mindset that exists among the successful ones because one, they did the work. You don't get anywhere by accident in real estate. You've done something on purpose for an extended period of time. One of my favorite quotes I've heard is it's one of the best get rich slow schemes if you're going to do it because if you just remain consistent and then you took action. And even when I coach people in that world, seeing people take that action where they actually do it, you couldn't be more right. It is rewarding. And watching them go through the process and see in their own life that we're not special. It's not because you have superpowers that it pulls off. It's just dedication and that willingness to learn, right? I love how that's what you're about. And especially the adjustments. Real estate's a market cycle, always. It's been repeating for quite some time. I think
Yeah.
uh, when I first got started in real estate, I was a realtor with Berkshire Hathaway, and we called him Uncle Warren, right? Warren Buffett. And I would always think to myself, how many market cycles has Uncle Warren been through at this point? And it's just repeating. It's different things cause it, but you're watching the same kind of concept happen over and over and being able to adjust inside of it, knowing where you're at in the process to either stay in your backyard, go chase cash flow in a different state. That was another one I was talking to earlier where cash flow wasn't good in the southern part of Florida. So they went and found a market where cash flow still worked, where they could still use the BRRRR strategy, which is their whole
Hmm.
mode. They're a
Yeah.
lifestyle investor. That's what they want to do. And it's knowing to do it. And then you nailed it earlier. You were surrounded by people doing the business. If you want to be an investor, be around people doing investing. Get
Exactly.
yourself in the rooms where it's actually happening because that's where you see what's possible.
So I mentioned I started reading the book in the year 2000. I basically sat on the information for 15 years.
Mm.
If somebody had shown me the way, I would have started earlier. So people always say, "Oh, hey, when is the best time to invest?" It's always yesterday. Then the second best time is now. If
Exactly.
somebody is able to show me the way or being where I am right now, showing other people the way, I'm sure people will reach their financial freedom goals a lot earlier, or myself too. If I didn't just sit on the information and not taking action, I would have done it a lot sooner as well.
It is, and I think that's a tough point for each person that gets into it is realizing, one, you don't do it alone. Nobody builds anything big alone, and the beautiful thing is you don't have to do it alone, right? To know that, okay, this option exists, now the next step, which nobody really likes the education part unless you're just super into that, like, you wanna be in the action part, you wanna be making offers and signing deals, and
Yeah.
that's what you're trying to get to. However, the first hurdle is really the education part, knowing to, okay, there's exists. Now, how do I go participate in it? And if you do start that way, you eliminate so many pitfalls and mistakes that you don't really have to go through unless you just want to do it the hardest way possible.
Yeah. And one of the things we do as mentors, we will go into the market with the student. Like I said, I don't have to invest in my backyard. I understand if it's your first time getting into a market, that's not your backyard. You want to do that. And if somebody is willing to handhold you, we could definitely get into the market. I did it that way. I started not far from my backyard because at the time, like 8 years ago, it still made sense then. Now the situation changed. It doesn't make sense anymore. So I had to venture out to different markets. Another thing I want to mention is everybody's on different path. I'm thinking, because I got my master's, I'm thinking I got to go through the corporate world to see that it works. And perhaps I have to go through that path in order to see I need to get into something different in order to be financially free. So students are coming in at different stages in their life. Yes, it's easier if you have the time to compound. So Warren Buffett talk about compound interest or compound your wealth for sure. However, I guess everybody's on a different path. I would like to start earlier. Thinking back, perhaps I still have to go through everything I had to go through to be where I am today.
I agree with that. And I think it's important for each person to realize that you are on your own path. None of us come like we all come into the world with the same ingredients, but not the same recipe. And you spend a large part of your life figuring it out. Even one of my favorite quotes from Carl Jung, psychiatrist, said, until you're 40, you're just doing research, right? Like you don't even know a whole lot about what's going on. You're still just figuring out what it means to be human at all. And don't beat yourself up for it. Whatever life you've had,
Mhm.
we all come in different. Nobody asked to be here. And then you live with whoever brought you here for 15, 20 years, and you're just absorbing all whatever they believe. And who knows why, if they know why they believe it. And then now you got 20 years to sort it out for yourself to see, okay, who am I actually? What do I believe? There was a question I asked myself about a decade ago. Why am I the way I am in all the ways I am? Like, why? I need to know. And it sent me on a really incredible journey to figure out where did I come from? Why did I come from there? What were my parents like before they were
Yeah.
my parents? Right. To really get this idea of, okay, I'm right on time in my life. I'm not
Yes.
late. I'm exactly where I should be. And I agree with you. When you can get to that place, I grew up in the world of pine trees farming, and we have a little bit different quote for pine trees. Like, when's the best time to plant pine trees? 20 years ago. Next best time? Today. Right. And it's that same kind of concept. Make sure you actually capitalize on your today, because a lot of folks get stuck right there. You get to that point and there's ego involved. There's that, well, I might fail. Well, I might this and I might that. Well, if you don't do it, you for sure won't do it. Right. You won't even get a chance to win. And you said a thing earlier I appreciated, which was along the lines of, how much you're saving, but you have no idea how much you're losing. All of this on the other side, if you're willing to be uncomfortable, right? Another
Mhm.
quote I really like by Virginia Satir is, most people prefer the certainty of misery than the misery of uncertainty.
Exactly.
And if you're just willing to be there with that feeling of, honestly, I think it's what being alive feels like your skin's a little bit tingling, you're a little nervous, your hands are kind of
Mhm.
sweat. That only happens when cool stuff is happening. Like you have this big opportunity to capitalize on. That's what's generating that feeling. So let it drive you. Don't let it push you away.
So a lot of the times I see what people are doing when you talk about certainty. People get into real estate, also a lot of students too, is to eliminate pain. So when they want to get out of their job or they realize they don't have enough for retirement or they're in the rat race, for example. So that's usually when people start to really look into it. So same thing for myself. I think I was comfortable not having access, but we can get by. We have, roof over our head. Things are okay. Finally, when I was 40, I'm like, okay, at this rate, we're really not saving. We're not really going to be retiring comfortably. So yes, everybody should be at the point where you want to start to do something, feel the pain. And like you said, everybody is at the right place at the right time. We're at the right place at the right time. So whoever is listening, you just happen to meet this at this point in your life. So everything happens for you. That's how I believe it. should
Agree.
be.
Life's happening for you, not to you. And that simple shift in your mind, if you can get to there, life changes. And to me, when I got there, it slowed down. Right. When I first got into real estate, it seemed like I was always in a hurry. I lived my life 45 days at a time because that's how long it takes to get a closing. And then I look back, I'm really big into journaling. And now I've got almost 4 years of every day written down, and I got about 8 years total of information to pull on. And just realizing nothing happens fast. Me running around crazy, like being all stressed out, this is not helping anything. It didn't make the problems go away. It didn't make the process speed up. It was really like, okay, hold on, take a step back here and see one, how much life you're losing each day just being worried about nothing. And then if you got that time back, where can I reallocate that resource of energy to? And then life, boop, shifted. It's like, whoa, instead of so much time wasted on what wasn't going to happen, now
Yeah.
way more invested on what's really possible and can see opportunities in a different way, can see everything changes. Honestly, you see everything a different way because again, it's happening for you now. Even the hard isn't as hard, and it's still pretty hard. That's one thing I try to teach my kids is like hard equals good. It's not a bad thing that it's hard. Okay. Like
Yeah.
everything is hard. Just don't look at it as, I think it's a Jim Rohn quote. Don't wish for it not to be hard. Wish for the wisdom to know how to solve the problem. I think I butchered it, but
Wish you're
that kind
stronger.
of mindset, right? Of we're always going to have stuff. If you can shift it to looking at it from a perspective of, okay, this is happening for me. I can learn from this and keep growing through it. I will get to where I want to go.
And since we're recording this in the beginning of the year, you mentioned journaling. So it's a perfect time to start to think how you want to plan your year. And that reminds me, people always overestimate what they can achieve in a year and underestimate what they can achieve in 10 years. Because at the end of this year, it'll mark 10 years of my investing journey. So that really resonates with me. And by the way, even though I was taught to, like you said, we want to rush, rush, rush and see the results. When I started, even though I was taught the same way I talked about, you start with your goal and then find the right strategy, get into the right market. I got into so many deals that didn't help me reach my goal of getting enough cash flow. And thinking back, I think that built my resilience, and I wasn't afraid of getting into deals anymore. However, I really didn't go back and reflect on my goals when I got into the deals. I was like, okay, opportunity came. I better get into this. I like you. I like you. I want to get into a deal with you. Then I got into the deal. Luckily, these are people I like and trust, and like we talked about in the network. However, to do things more efficiently, I would focus on my goal, what I really want to achieve. That's one thing. And then another thing is to think about who you want to associate yourself with. That goes a long way. Um, in the beginning, you asked me what's been difficult along the journey. I think when things are difficult, because like you said, it's not a one person deal, one person job, is when you're with the right people. Even if things go wrong, you will work together to solve it. And if you're not with the right people, even if it's a smooth market, you might not be able to sleep at night. It might not be an enjoyable experience for you. So make sure you associate yourself with the right people. The third thing I want to mention is that why do people educate themselves? Because a lot of the times you don't have to reinvent the wheels. I get that. We talked about kids. Sometimes we tell them, hey, life could be difficult. They won't listen to us. They will have to experience it. However, if you learn from other people, at least you have the tools to see how people solve the problem and understand you're not the only one. Somewhere somebody experienced it, so you can get through it as well.
You nailed it. With one, if you feel like if you're listening to this and you feel like you're on an island in your business, that is the biggest indicator you need to find a good network because that's
Mm.
one of the things that alleviates is feeling alone is crushing. Where that stress you have nowhere to put it. And it's instantly alleviated just having people to talk to that, like you said, hey, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. And that's common in entrepreneurs. You know, they want to come up with this idea, this thing that nobody's ever seen before. And one of the coaches I worked with, they really helped me with that and said, Micah, you don't differentiate on what you do. There's only so many whats that we can do. What you differentiate on is how you do it and why you do it. That is where the real you gets to come out. So looking at what is somebody already doing to be successful, rinse and repeat. Don't you don't have to come up with your own solution. It's already working. So I super agree with that there. Now, one thing we talked about beforehand was you wrote a book, right? That's out publishing out. Tell us a little bit about it.
And this is on Amazon. So the good thing about Amazon is you order today, they'll ship it to you tomorrow. I did this like anything. You have to have a goal. I wrote the book for a couple things. What is it for me? What is it for the reader? For me, yes, leaving a legacy. This is the very beginning of my journey. It's been 4 years. So if I write a second book, it'll be slightly different. I'll put in a little bit more and make it a little bit more fun because things I've learned. Also, now there's a lot more tools, ChatGPT and things like that. It'll be a lot faster to write a book. So a couple things when I wrote the book. My goal, yes, to leave a legacy. And second, to reach out to investors or students because for example, we only have half an hour, 20 minutes. If I just hand you a book, take your time, learn about me. It's not a very thick book. You can read it over the weekend. That's one thing. And then another thing is for other people to see that there's, like you said, we all have 24 hours. I don't think I'm that special. I'm an immigrant. English is my second language. I have a master's degree. A lot of people can relate to my path. And I'm a stay-at-home mom. So I have a lot of mommy friends as well.
Mhm.
Just to show that, hey, everybody could do this. If there's 1 or 2 points that resonates with you, I think that's worth it. Worth it for me to do it, worth it for you to spend your time reading it.
Absolutely. And what was the name of that book?
Financial Freedom, the Royal Way.
Excellent. Okay. For all those listening, we'll make sure that that link is in our show notes for you. And Brooke, if people wanted to reach out to you, find a way to touch base with you and learn more, what's the best way to find you?
As I mentioned, I'm part of a training team now. So you can reach out, trustyourtalent.ca. I'll give you the link as well. So my email is just brooke@trustyourtalent.ca. Simple, no hyphen, nothing.
Excellent. And again, we'll make sure that those are in the show notes for everybody. If you want to reach out to her, be able to find her book. Brooke, I really appreciate your time, your story, your
I appreciate
perspective.
it.
Thanks so much for joining me today. I think we need more people in the space doing it like you're doing it, giving back, helping others see that you can do it too. The ability to have a strong financial future for you and your family is possible. So thanks for that. For those tuning in, if you got value from today's episode, please like the episode, subscribe to our podcast. We have more operators just like Brooke coming up in future conversations that are out there building their real estate businesses the right way. Thank y'all for joining us. We'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.